I was actually out here like, am I going to be able to feed myself if I don't have this money? So I hope that this isn't too crooked. I'm trying to figure out this tripod situation, but it's a little bit difficult. Let me get a drink of water. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Omar, but you can call me Boy Electric, and that was the first time I've ever introduced myself on my YouTube channel. I am a fourth year public relations major at, I will not say the name of my university because although I love them and I thank them for everything that they've done for me, no ma'am. But I do go to school in Florida, and right now I'm studying here in London, and I just wanted to give my kind of experience being here in London during the COVID-19 outbreak. I know that a lot of people around the world are experiencing extreme situations, and I wanted to kind of offer my experience as a student here in London alone, essentially, and just kind of give you all the reason why I stayed and, you know, how everything has been. So I'm going to give it a little bit of backstory. So I actually studied abroad before 2 years ago in Madrid. During the time I was a marketing major with a minor in Spanish. So studied abroad in Madrid, lived there for 5 months in the spring. It was absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love Madrid. It's one of my favorite places. So fun, so diverse. And so I had an amazing experience in Madrid, and I was thinking, I want to go back to Europe. Like, I would definitely want to go back to Europe. And while I was in Madrid, there was the first encounter I had where I met this Englishman at a bar in Berlin, and he told me that I really had a London vibe about me and that I should really go to London. And I was like, that's interesting. I never really wanted to go to London just because I knew that they spoke English there, and I was just like, I want to go someplace where I'm kind of out of my element. We'll get there. I wanted to go someplace out of my element, and I thought that London would be so closely related to America, so I was just kind of disinterested. But I had two more encounters with two other people, and they were saying, hey, I really think you should go to London. Like, you definitely have a London vibe about you. So I started thinking, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to go to London. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. So I applied to some scholarships. I sought out financial aid, did the whole application process. I moved to London at the beginning of January, January 7th to be exact. And it was a very exciting day for me. If you want to go back, you can watch my coming to London video. And so I was very excited for this new experience, and I really was looking forward to getting the best out of this study abroad experience. I had no expectations. I absolutely had no expectations because I know that when you get your expectations up, they will always disappoint you. So I came to London with a very refreshed sense of the world, and I was just ready I was ready for London to give me whatever it needed to do, and definitely got that. My experience in London for the first 2 months were very difficult. As I said, I really wanted some place that was going to take me out of my element and allow me to really grow and see the world in a different way. And I always thought I needed, you know, a foreign language speaking country to, you know, give me that experience. But here in London, I had a very difficult time. And it was only just recently, like a few weeks ago, that I realized that I actually had culture shock, and that my time here in London during those first 2 months, I was actually in depressive states. So I'll touch a little bit on this because this touches into the reason why I decided to stay during the COVID-19 outbreak. When I first came to London, it was a whole different adjustment. Like the traffic, they drive on the other side of the road. In addition, London is a very expensive city, and I just, at the time, we all know how financial aid works. They just distribute funds when they feel like it. So during those first 2 months, I was just very on edge because I knew I had a certain amount of money, but I also knew that I still had more, but I didn't know when the rest of my money was coming. So I was literally walking on eggshells, like, am I gonna have enough money to live in London? I was actually out here like, am I going to be able to feed myself if I don't have this money? So that was constantly going through my mind. Also, the weather was extremely, extremely terrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. January and February, they are the worst months of. Just thinking about it triggers me because it was just so rainy and it was just so cold, and it was just like every day was a struggle to just like say, let me go to class, or let me, go see something. Let me see the magic of London. It was just so hard for me to find the magic because there were so many factors weighing on my spirit, and it was seasonal depression, and I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that actually the weather can have an effect on you, and that it really did make me depressed. And so I was battling finances, battling transportation. The people here in London, they weren't friendly. In Madrid, I absolutely had no trouble making friends or getting to know people. But even the students that came on this program with me, I didn't really connect with them as I did with the people in my previous program. So that was also a reason why I wasn't having the best experience, because it was a very lonely experience, living in this new country, this new city, and having to have all of these factors weigh in on you. It was a lot for me to handle, and I really didn't have a lot of emotional strength, I will say. So it just really, I had to go through the cycles in order to build that strength, all of that to really appreciate, the sun now. So those first 2 months in London were absolutely, oof, girl, we don't even gotta talk about it. We don't even gotta talk about it anymore. I don't even want to talk about it because it was really traumatic for me. Wow. But spring break came. I ended up going to Madrid and Nice, and those videos will be coming out very soon. I'm very behind on everything. I'm not gonna blame it on the pandemic. It just comes from, motivation, and I'll get into that later on. But during this time away from London, away from the rain, away from the, chaos here going on internally, I was just like, I want to go to these cities and find something. And what I needed was the sun. That was the first big thing that I needed. But I also needed to sit with myself and just understand, like, okay, why am I going through this process? Why has this whole experience in London been so different from my experience in Madrid? And so I finally was able to just become revitalized through Madrid and Nice. I was just soaking up the sun. I was just preparing myself to go back to London. While in Nice and Madrid, I was just saying, okay, I'm gonna go back to London and I'm just going to make this experience the best. I have 2 more months here and I'm going to kill it. Like, I'm literally going to kill it. So then, I had just came back from vacation the first week of March, and there were like conversations and reports of the virus spreading and it becoming like a little difficult, especially over in Italy. And so I was like, oh, like it's getting real. It's getting real. And then Trump, who Trump, a character, he puts a travel ban in. And when Trump put the travel ban in, that's when I was immediately like, okay, wait, this is a little bit too much. I'm like, this is a little bit too much. What is going on? Can we really can we have some common, grounds? Can we just really establish some common ground of what's going on? Because it just seemed to me as things were coming out so hastily. As soon as Trump put out the travel ban, my university sends like 3 emails. Like one night I was cooking dinner, there's like 3 emails like, Trump has put the travel ban in, we're canceling all our programs, we need you to come back now, like make it on Friday. And I'm like, I'm cooking dinner. Like I just initially I wasn't as shaken by the whole virus just because I thought personally, I was just saying the actual panic that is being spread is actually worse than the actual virus. When the whole travel ban went out, when my university sent out those emails, I was like, why are people being so hasty? Can we really, assess this situation and understand what it is that we're doing? Because me going back, I'm like, what am I going back to? Like, what if I'm leaving something worse to go to something worser? That's not a word. But am I leaving something bad to go to something worse? And I just didn't want to, be in the airport with all of those people who I knew were panicking leaving. And that's how the virus has spread even more in the US. And so I thought about it and I said, absolutely not. I'm going to stay here in London. I'm going to stick it out because London has put me through too much already. I'm like, the first 2 months I was, going through, cycles and states of, sadness. And I was like, I refuse for a virus to take me out. So I decided to stay. So I guess that brings me to my experience here during the whole COVID-19 outbreak. For me personally, it hasn't been too difficult, but it's been a bit of a challenge. And one of them is establishing a routine and also finding that motivation. There comes a point in time where I'm realizing more and more that I have to take care of me actually. And I think that that's what this whole lockdown quarantine experience has really taught me, is that it's so important for our mental, physical, and emotional health to be given the support that it needs. And I say this especially during a pandemic. As soon as I saw everyone panicking, something snapped within me, and it was really like it was almost physical, like a snap. And I was just like, I just came to this realization. I was like, wait, I've been here like 2 months and I've been going through what everyone is going through right now, not to this extent. I'm not trying to say that my experience, being in London is, in any way similar to a pandemic where people are dying and losing their lives, but just the general nuance of the whole situation, of all the chaos. That's what I endured for these first 2 months in London. And I snapped out of it as soon as I saw like the world start to panic, and I was just came into myself and I said, I need to really focus on me, and I need to really ground myself in the here and now, because now I see that life changes every single day. Within the weeks of the travel ban, that happened all around the first week of March, and by the second week of March, there were only 4 people from my university, including myself, who decided to stay here in London. That really, for me, was just like, wow, like, I didn't know if it was the right decision to do. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. All I knew is that my host university here said they're not giving any refunds. They said they were not giving any refunds, and I was like, well, girl, I don't want to go back to America. Like, can I stay here? And my host university was like, yeah, we're going to keep our operations open. Like, so you're free to stay into our accommodations until the program is over. So I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds good to me. I'm in London right now. I know situations are worse in Italy and Spain and a few other European countries. So I think it was appropriate for those programs to be canceled just because of the severity of the case, the severity of the matter. But I think for me, I wish that we would have approached, this whole situation here for our program a little bit differently, just because now America has the most cases in the world. And I think that certainly has to do with the travel ban. That's just my own personal opinion. I feel like as soon as Trump said the travel ban, you had so many Americans go back, and I mean so many people can carry this virus without even knowing. So you're stuck in these airport queues and you get on these planes and then you take the virus all across America. And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, I cannot put myself through that. I'd rather just, stay here in London and just kind of tough it out. And I'm glad that I did, because I've been having some of the most beautiful spring days I have ever seen in my life. For those of you who don't know, I am a runner. I absolutely love to run. It is something that I am addicted to. And so I often go for a run in Hyde Park and to Battersea Park. And just the spring weather in London, it's so crisp, it's so cool, it's so subtle. The wind is just very, very, she's so gentle. The wind is so gentle, and I have the most beautiful view in all of London, I believe. And I've just been watching these trees just bloom and blossom, and it's just been an absolutely satisfying feeling, because there's a lot that goes into study abroad. There's a lot that goes into moving to a new country and living there. And I think sometimes I don't give myself enough credit for how strong I am, because there are some people who couldn't do this, who couldn't live in another country during a global pandemic and be away from their family, be away from their friends, and have this much uncertainty going on. And I think for me, that just shows how much I've grown, because younger me would have been the first one on the plane, period. I literally would have been like, Mommy, I'm coming home. Like, I terrified. But even I spoke with my mother, and my mother was just saying, if your university is saying that you should stay, I think you should stay. And so that kind of encouraged me also to, kind of branch out here on my own. And I have been able to, try to find some sort of routine. It's definitely, I still haven't been able to really get a routine in. But I think that the general, I think that I have a general way of doing things that I've kind of, established, such as cooking and, running and doing assignments. But it's still that motivation that I'm missing. And I think that that comes from the energy of the world. I think that there's so much going on right now, especially with Twitter culture and, social media culture. It's like, oh, work, 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 work. Like, this is the time to, build your business, do a hobby. And it's just been this overwhelming feeling of like, I need to do this, I need to do that. And this experience is teaching me to take a step back, like, relax. Like, this is the only time where we don't have to be anywhere. Like, we don't have to go to a meeting. We don't have to, physically, we don't have to go anywhere physically. We can use all this energy for ourselves to redirect it, and not even to, exploring new hobbies or exploring, new business ventures, but really sitting with ourselves and just really trying to ground ourselves here in the now. Because after this situation is over, after after COVID-19, she settles, life is going to continue. And the things that we do now, the habits, the patterns, the behaviors that we cultivate now during this such vital time in our lives, it's going to, affect, the future. So I think it's just important to start investing in your future self now, and, doing things that are going to make you happy, and not forcing yourself to just really overwork yourself during this time where we're supposed to be relaxing and taking things easy and taking the days as they come. Because since I've been here, since April has started, it's been one long day here in April for me. It's been absolutely just, it's been beautiful here in London. So that's been my experience here in London. I hope that this video was helpful to some people. If you're considering to study abroad, if you're scared of, what will happen in a global pandemic, like, what should I do? I think that this is definitely like a video that can help you just assuage your fears. And ever since I've been here, I haven't felt in any danger. The queues and the lines at the supermarkets, they've been very effective. They haven't been too They haven't been too long. The grocery stores are stocked, so I'm able to buy food and purchase, cleaning products. Because people were panicking, they were buying everything, but I've been able to really have a sustainable way of living here. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for this whole experience. I'm very glad that I decided to stay here in London because I think that I needed this moment. I definitely needed this moment. So that's all for now. Please check out my other videos, and if you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That is the first time I said that. Oh my goodness. But if you all have any questions, or if you all want me to do a video of my quarantine routine, or just anything related to London, I have a few days here in London, or a few more weeks here left in London. So if you have any ideas, just please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you all whenever that is. I don't know. I want to drink some more water.